What? Thought it was worthy of you guys. All right. I think Cassie's ready for this. Cassie should be ready for this. Let's see. Damn. Welcome back, guys. I just wanted to make it easier for people so they didn't have to like go through all my bullshit. If they want to watch something, they don't have to do all that. All right. Welcome. I drank some wine and now I just want to eat some. What? When I drink wine, I don't want to do that, but I will let you do that. Maybe I should make a late night pizza. I got like this wood burning fire pizza. Lord, you are hard to find. I always play like Duck to Goose. That way the people can't find me. In the strip club. No, because you know what? Canadian Mama, I couldn't do that to you. She is my guest tonight, so she's going to be playing Cassie, and I just felt like it wasn't appropriate. But I'm going to go live there when we're done, and it's going to be very appropriate. So I'm going to post this little link. But here we go, live with, we're getting here, closing out the state's case. We got Cassie. So I just put the link there. There you go. Get in here. It's Pride Week, bitches. It's Pride Week. Be prideful. Hey, Lala. That's a fake Gmail account, but I'm using it. It's fake, but you're using it. Okay. Good to know. Cheers. My allergies suck. How are you guys' allergies? Good? Awesome. I use Flonase, I use Zyrtec, I use everything possible. I am proud. Hell yeah. Yes, I'm making my niece a pride. Oh, Lala, I love it. Miss Cassie.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm feeling really good.
That's good.
Okay, good. No, I could be inappropriate on you like that. I can't do that to you.
So, how come it's not appropriate to be in the strip club?
Oh, because I didn't think it was appropriate for Cassie.
Oh, okay. Understandable.
I figured I'd hold off on Cassie. Let's see, 20 here. All right. Again, the state decided to call Cassie last minute to stand and be a witness for the state. So, Miss Rosenberg, will you go ahead and, again, this is the prosecution witness, so she'll be direct examined through the prosecution. And we go ahead and raise your right hand, do all that good stuff.
Sounds good. Can you hear me okay? I had to take my earphones out because you're echoing in my ears.
Oh, I was echoing. Sorry about that.
No, it's my headphones.
Okay. I was going to say, usually I let people know when I'm in their ear, but that's cool. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Okay, so you're sworn in. Thank you for being here, Cassie. Sorry about your losses.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you go ahead and state for the jury and the courts how you know the defendant and Shanann and the children?
I had met Shanann and Chris through Thrive, and we had instantly clicked about 2 years ago.
Okay. So can you explain, were you more than just coworkers? Were you...
Yeah, we had, me and Shanann had an amazing relationship, an amazing friendship, and we actually were like sisters.
That's how you guys thought you're, okay, perfect. Now, you said you knew each other for about 2 years?
Approximately, yes.
Okay. Where were you living when you met Shanann?
I was living in Kingman, Arizona.
Okay. And were you in the process of moving?
We were, yes, about a week when we were interviewed by the police. About a week after that, we were moving to Westminster, Colorado.
Okay. And when you say we, who is that?
My husband and my children and I.
Okay. Are you guys still married today?
Yes.
No, you're not.
No?
No, they're divorced.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. When you first met Shanann and Chris, how would you describe their marriage?
We would describe their marriage. It was basically like, your typical marriage. It was as though it was cohesive, normal. They showed affection towards one another. Anytime that they had any disagreements, they were normal and insignificant. I would describe it as that they had the type of relationship that most people would want. They're open and honest, and there was never really any problems mentioned.
Okay. And that's you saw that like on social media. How did you see that?
Just through interaction.
Well, if you lived in Arizona and they lived in Colorado.
Well, and we'd go on Facebook, and then also through the Thrive trips that we had seen each other on.
Okay.
And then also actually in and around May of 2018, we actually stayed at the Watts house.
Okay. How often would you speak with would you speak to Shanann often on the phone, text? Like how often would you text and talk to her?
So we would speak we would talk text every day, almost every day. There was maybe 1 or 2 weeks where we wouldn't immediately exchange good morning texts of some type with one another.
Okay. And was Shanann forthcoming? Did you feel like you guys shared secrets?
Yes, I believe that we were close, yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk here about prior to Shanann leaving for North Carolina, were you on the trip to go to San Diego? Were you there?
In San Diego?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. Let me just see if I can remember. I don't recall.
Maybe. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm just trying to defend somebody, but I'm just over it. Just kidding.
Am I boring you or?
No. This is like my way of just like getting ready for the pounds. But I am the prosecution here, so I have to like, okay. So, you were aware that Shanann was pregnant, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. How did you find out Shanann was pregnant?
I believe she had posted it on Facebook.
Were you surprised about that?
I was not.
Oh, so you were aware that they were having sex to have a baby?
Before Shanann left for North Carolina, she had mentioned that her and Chris were having sex like 3 times a day.
Is it because they were, but before North Carolina, she was already pregnant though?
Oh yes, North Carolina was, okay, sorry, that was a little bit earlier.
So are they just like big hornballs?
I have no idea.
But Shanann was just reiterating it to you that they like to F.
Yes.
Yeah, according to Shanann.
According to
Shanann, they were having sex 3 times a day.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of condoms. Just kidding.
Not They were trying for a kid.
Okay, so you and Shanann are close. You have a good relationship. You're like sisters. And you're talking about moving to Colorado. And then you go ahead and you move to we're gonna do it. We're gonna move, right?
Correct.
Okay. Was there anything strange with any conversations that you had with Shanann in North Carolina when she was there?
In North Carolina, Shanann had mentioned quite a lot about how her and Chris was acting very strange. She had mentioned that Chris was very cold.
She told you this in North Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're about to get murdered on the cross-examination. You're sure about that?
So while Shanann was in North Carolina, she told me that Chris was very cold.
Okay. When Chris arrived there that last week once he arrived there. Okay, perfect. All right. That's a better way to clear that up. Okay.
Sorry.
So they're having problems or like he's just being, he's not being himself.
No, he is being very strange.
Okay. And then during the 5 weeks leading up to him coming to North Carolina, was there anything that you guys talked about that you can recall? Nutgate?
The first 5 weeks that Shanann was in North Carolina without Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. So Shanann told me that Chris, within the first week that Shanann was in North Carolina, she and Chris were not talking on the phone very much. He was being very strange. And then that once he had flew in to North Carolina, they had gotten a condo by the beach to spend the time together as a family.
Okay. So, do you recall Nutgate at all?
I do.
Okay. And do you recall, was it just like a little thing, a big thing? Was it just blown out of proportion? How would you describe Nutgate?
I believe Nutgate was a pretty big thing in the relationship.
Okay.
Did you want me to go through what I had said or what was said about it?
No, I just that was good enough that you felt that it played a big role in their relationship at the time?
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any opinion on Nutgate? Did you ever talk to Shanann about, hey, maybe it's this way or it's that way? Did you give her any advice?
I did, in a text message, suggest that Chris confront his mother about it.
Okay. All right. Did you feel that Shanann was being, do you think that she should have been upset about all that? Did you feel like there was concern? Did you feel like it was exaggerated? Did you have any opinions on what she was saying?
I do believe that any allergy would be something to take seriously.
Okay. And then we're going to go to when they get back from North Carolina. So roughly the 7th, 8th, 9th before she leaves for Arizona. You were on the phone heavily with her in group text messages. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And Shanann stated to you that she is dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous. she says that she's not pooped in weeks due to constipation. Do you recall that?
I do, yep. That was on the 6th.
Okay. Now you're a nurse, or is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any, like, I mean, is that normal are you a pregnancy pal? Like, is that normal?
I don't know. I don't recall.
You don't recall? Like, no, I'm just saying, like, is it normal that one would be constipated, dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous during a pregnancy?
Oh, sorry, I didn't understand the question, but no, that doesn't sound normal.
You shouldn't be dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous during a pregnancy in first trimester?
Well, you definitely should be nauseous. I don't know about dizzy and lightheaded.
What about constipated?
Yeah, constipated, I would say, would be normal.
Okay. Did you suggest that she go to the hospital or anything?
I do not recall at that time.
Was Shanann planning a gender reveal or anything like that?
She was planning a gender reveal, yes.
Okay. Did she cancel that at any time?
Yes, she did.
When did she cancel that, if you recall? Like the 7th or 8th before she left for Arizona, or like in Arizona?
Yeah, no, it wasn't in Arizona. I believe it was before, but I don't 100% recall.
Okay. Let's talk about your conversation before you guys got to Arizona. Can you recall Shanann sending you a text that says, I told him I don't know who this person is, but the person I left 7 weeks ago would have answered differently. Why are you married to me? Because we love each other. He said that's all he can think of to say at the moment. I said, you love me because I'm the mother of your kids. You're not in love with me. I told him I think he enjoyed single life too well, and that I think he may realize he prefers to be alone. He's not in love with me. A person still madly in love can find what to say. He responded, I don't want to lose the kids. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Was she just like, she said, I walked away in tears since I couldn't take it anymore. Now, was this stuff that was screenshotted to you, or was she just like writing this to you?
I believe
Writing.
she was writing it. Yeah, I don't think there were any.
Okay.
That was a screenshot, no.
Okay. So you, perfect. If you're done, don't love me, don't want to work this out, not happy anymore, and only staying because of the kids, I need you to tell me. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And then there was also screenshots, so that's the texting. And then there was also screenshots of text from the right side, a parent sender, Shanann. I don't know how you fell out of love with me in 5.5 weeks, or if this has been going on for a long time, but you don't plan another baby if you're not in love. Kids don't deserve a broken family. Has Shanann ever like erratically sent this stuff to you before, ever in the past?
Has she ever erratically done that?
Yeah, have you ever seen like Shanann like sending you stuff like this, just like their marriage, like, or is she keeping that all private? Like, how does that work?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so this is something out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and you guys are just basically going back and forth all those 3 days leading up before Arizona, just a bunch of texting.
That's right.
Okay. And then in Arizona, excuse me. Did you, when you finally got to see Shanann in person, how was it?
I was good to see her, but she definitely, I was worried about her.
You were worried how? Why?
Well, because she had, she basically was like distraught over the past weekend. Are you talking about like when we just first met up or over the whole weekend?
Okay, so she was just like, you just feel like she was defeated?
Yeah, she was distraught. Chris and her were having problems. She was not eating. Um, she was having low blood sugar, so I was worried about her.
Is Shanann a drinker?
Not typically. When she did have a drink, it was maybe a glass of wine, but I had never seen her drunk nor intoxicated.
Okay. You've never seen her drunk or intoxicated?
No.
Okay. Now, when you guys were there in Arizona, there was an incident that happened on Saturday night. When Chris went on a date, aka to the Rockies game.
Okay, I recall that. Yep.
Okay. Did you room with Shanann? Were you like around her? Were you there when she found out about this?
Yes, we did stay in the same room.
Okay. And can you recall that incident at all, or?
Yeah, basically, there was a charge to an account that was around $60. Chris had gotten a babysitter to go to the Rockies game, and the charge was for $60. And that seemed like quite a lot for just one meal. And it worried us because we didn't think it would cost that much for a dinner.
Okay. Perfect. So, did you guys start talking about maybe infidelity issues or anything like that? I mean, you said she was already distraught when she got there, and then you guys find this out about Chris getting a babysitter. Is that normal for him to get a babysitter? Have you ever heard of him getting a babysitter before when Shanann would go out of town?
No, it was definitely not normal for Chris to get a babysitter.
Okay. And
the place was actually only I think it was 15 minutes away from their house too, and Chris wasn't home until even though it was only 15 minutes, and it was over an hour after that. So it was just kind of weird that it had
so
taken
once
him
he got
so
the
long.
bill, why didn't he just leave and go home?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's see here. You live in Arizona, so you didn't fly out, so you leave, and then Shanann and Nicole Atkinson fly back. And do you recall if they were on the same flight or not?
I do not recall, no.
I didn't think you would. Did you text Shanann on Monday, August 13th?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you recall the times that you may have texted her? Or do you want me to show the audience?
You can go ahead and show the audience if that's okay.
Okay. So, oopsies, wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Settings, camera. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So, right here, you had received a text from the group text message at 12:25 a.m. saying, and that's Colorado time, from Shanann's phone, that say it landed with 3 sleeping emojis.
Okay, yeah, I do recall that.
Okay. And then in the morning, what's funny here is that that's the last time they want to talk about like what you did there. But we know that you had texted Shanann at 9 and then at 10. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So, let's see 1 second here. I'm just going to turn this around. I just want to show you one other thing here. Let's talk about your interaction then with the defendant, Chris Watts. How would you describe his demeanor and his, willingness to listen to you that day? Can you just describe what you went through that day?
So with that day, I had,
Are you there?
sorry?
Yeah, I was just making sure. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. So Monday, I had texted Chris to let him know that I was worried, and that I was having problems, and that I'd never seen Shanann so broken, that I was worried. And then he responded that Shanann was at a friend's house with kids, and that Shanann wouldn't tell Chris where they were though, and that he was going to, when he got home, he was going to update me. However, I had mentioned to him that her car and her shoes and everything like that was at the house, and he had said that he had told Nikki Atkinson about it so that she wouldn't freak out anymore at the house, and that they talked last night, and he had mentioned to Shanann that he had wanted to sell the house, get something smaller, and separation would be the best right now if they can work through the issues. And then he mentioned that he didn't want me to think that he was a bad person. And then I had responded I did not care, and that I was worried about Shanann's well-being, and that Nikki was calling the police due to our concern, mine and Nikki Atkinson's. And then he had let me know that he was actually on his way home and not to call the police.
And so, did you feel like he wasn't as concerned as you were?
I felt like he was not as concerned, no.
Okay. Were you on three-way at any point in time with anybody that day?
I do not recall.
Did you have a, you said you have a husband who's friends with Chris?
Yes.
The defendant? Okay, the defendant.
And we're divorced.
Was he keeping tabs? Were you guys communicating that day?
Was my ex-husband and Chris keeping tabs that day?
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Okay. So, you were just all hands on deck worried about your friend.
That is correct.
Okay. Perfect. And last but not least, did your kids play with Shanann and Chris's children?
Yes, they did.
So you definitely had a work relationship, but then also that friendship.
That is correct.
Okay. No more further questions. All right. So Cassie, I'm gonna enjoy this.
You're gonna have to give me a bottle of vodka, man.
Well, you can have a truth. You want some truth over here? You can just start drinking the truth. All right. So Cassie, I've been waiting like 2.5 years to talk to you.
Oh boy.
So Miss Rosenberg, you said that you've known Shanann for 2 years. Is that correct?
Approximately, yes.
Okay. And that you basically only hung out with her on Thrive trips. Is that correct?
Yeah, mostly just because we were in different states.
Ma'am, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. And then your kids only hung out once?
I believe so.
Okay. And that was that like Labor or Memorial Day weekend before June?
Yeah, near the end of May 2018.
And you spoke to the detectives and you said that that you're like a sister to Shanann?
That's correct.
Okay. And that you guys talked pretty much every day?
Pretty much, yep.
Well, I want to talk to you about how frequently you guys talked. And I'm going to start with, and I'm going to show the jury that I would like to talk about. I'm definitely going to treat Cassie like a hostile witness, don't worry. I'm going to take her hostage too. Oh God, hold on, let me get my camera going here. Where's the camera? Settings, camera.
Don't make a promise you can't keep, Lana.
Oh shit, girl, don't tempt a girl. Okay. We're going to talk about your, everyday talking and the sisterhood that you guys had. You on 7/9, you asked Shanann about a post about Cece and is concerned, and that was Nutgate. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Shanann then replies to explain a disagreement with her mother-in-law, my client's mother, regarding her children and the allergies.
Correct.
Shanann also says that she wants Chris to say something to his mom about the food incident and for his mom to talk it over with him, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then you guys kind of go back and forth on the 9th. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then right here, do you see this, ma'am? Do you see how it's 7/9, not till 7/15?
Yeah.
Okay. You go the whole week, without texting. And we all know that Shanann's a texter. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
And then on 7/15, once again, it's Shanann says. You see, Shanann says she got home from. I want to show you something. See how you asked her about a post that she made about Cece?
Okay, yep.
And that was a post on the internet. Is that correct? On Facebook?
On Facebook, yes.
So Shanann's posting on Facebook about family issues?
I guess so, yep.
Okay. And then on the 15th, Shanann lets you know again that she says that they are out of her kid's life now. You see that? Shanann says that she got home from Celeste's party and that the in-laws were a no-show. Do you see that? A no-show?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That the in-laws were a no-show. Why would she think that the in-laws were showing up in the first place? Can I ask you that, Cassie? Do you know? Did she expect them to show up?
I would assume that the grandparents would be automatically invited, but
okay. Well,
given the current dynamics,
should we recall the incident that happened that week leading up to the birthday party and then the post on social media?
Yeah, but like I said, given the circumstances, I don't know if it would have been given.
Okay. And then Shanann says she wants to block them.
Yeah, I see that.
She wants them out of her kid's life, and that she wants to block her in-laws on social media. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then you say that you're suggesting that you would keep them on Facebook, but would not talk to them or make it a point to be around them for anything.
That is correct.
And this is your advice due to Shanann just talking to you. And you had no reason to not believe her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And we'll continue on here. Oh, wait a second. 7:15. And then you guys don't text again until 8:03. You see that?
I do.
Okay. And you asked Shanann if she's gotten all of your messages. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So you're asking Shanann, hey, have you gotten all of my messages?
I did. Yep.
Okay. And did you call the police, ma'am, when she wasn't responding to you for, this extended period of time? Were you worried that you hadn't talked to her? Did you call the police? Did you call Nicole Atkinson and ask her if she talked to her? Did you call her mother? Did you call anybody and ask them if they had seen or heard from Shanann?
No, I did not.
Okay, but on August 13th, you don't get an immediate response from Shanann, and you go into a complete and utter panic. And you're asking everybody, who has talked to her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you haven't talked to my client's wife here for a good, let's just say 18 to 19 days through text message. Okay. Because she was probably busy with Chris Miller? Was she busy with Chris Miller? Did she have other things going on?
I didn't text with her. I don't know.
Okay. So Shanann finally does, though, comment back to you on the 3rd and says that she did get them and that she's had a rough day.
Yep, she did.
Okay. So she eventually got back to you. So is it normal that Shanann, cools off and then gets back to you at some point and lets you know that, hey, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Seems like it.
So, okay. All right. I'm going to treat this witness like a hostile witness, Your Honor. So can I have leverage with that? Yes, you may. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And, Ms. Rosenberg, I'm going to stop beating around the bush here. And I'm going to remind you that you are under oath. Okay, ma'am? So.
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't talk to my client's wife every day, did you?
I guess it appears not.
Okay. And you basically see my client and his wife through social media.
That is correct.
Or on vacation. When you hang out with them, you see them on social media or quote unquote these paid for lavish vacations through Thrive.
Correct.
So have you ever seen my client or his wife other than 3 or 4 days in May of 2018 in an everyday situation?
Appears not, no.
And it was Shanann telling you in her own words, that my client and her were having sex 3 times a day before she left, being pregnant to go to North Carolina, a month into it, was having sex 3 times a day in her first trimester. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then you stated to detectives that my client went from calling her honey and babe to using her normal name, Shanann.
That is correct.
And was this because you witnessed this, or is this what Shanann told you?
This is what Shanann had told me because I hadn't have witnessed it in North Carolina. North Carolina.
Okay, perfect. And then who wanted the 3rd child? Did Shanann say she wanted another baby?
It was Chris that wanted the 3rd child, is what Shanann.
But ma'am, weren't you really surprised when you saw the reveal on Facebook that she was having a child when they did their little, like, oops, we did it again? Ma'am, if you're planning on having a child, would your reveal ever say, oops, we did it again? Or would it say, yay for 3? Like, an oops is a mistake, or like it wasn't planned. Because,
Yeah, I see that.
So, oops, we did it again is like a not planned pregnancy.
That's what it sounds like to me, correct?
But you say that it was Chris that wanted a 3rd child, and so they were planning a 3rd child? And then Shanann just thought she would throw a oops, we did it again versus, going for a boy, or yay for 3.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Cassie, you and your husband both believed that my client was cheating on his wife, did you not?
Based upon the information.
Yes or no?
Yes.
But Cassie, you did not tell Shanann that you thought that, did you?
No, I did not.
Now, if somebody is a sister to somebody and somebody is a best friend to somebody, how does one not tell somebody that their husband is cheating on them if that's what they feel? Would you call that like a best friend quality?
I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
So you rather, okay. Were you scared of Shanann?
No.
Okay. So based on all the information you were gathering over this time, you and your husband, because you were making your husband be your bitch boy, you both agreed that Chris is probably cheating on Shanann, but you did not tell Shanann that you thought this.
That is correct.
You never told her this, or did you start maybe telling her this? Did you just...
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, we're going to recall some of your guys' text messages here in a minute, but before we get there, you stated to the detectives that Chris is the submissive one in the marriage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And since you work for Thrive, would you say that Shanann was making, as Addie Maloney testified to, 6 figures, like $80,000 to $100,000 a year?
Shanann had hit the 80,000 link, so I'm...
And that's in team sales, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that has nothing to do with 80,000 as a sales. That has nothing to do with what you make. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Now, you are a nurse for a full-time position. Is that correct?
Yes.
So your MLM career is just more of like a hobby. It's not to pay all your bills.
No.
Do your children go to a daycare that costs $25,000 or $2,500 a month? Objection, Your Honor, relevance. They may object to that, and I would say, I want leniency. They may, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, ma'am, do you have a daycare provider?
Yes, I do.
How much money do you pay per month for a daycare provider?
I don't recall.
Is it $2,500 a month? $2,000 a month? Is that? Did you ever talk to your best friend about the spending habits in their marriage at all, and how much things cost? Did you ever talk about that? Was that ever brought up?
We didn't specifically talk about it, but it's not like they had money rolling in, but Shanann didn't speak of any financial difficulties or problems, and she had never ordered from a menu based upon price alone.
Okay. Now, you're a nurse, is that correct?
Yes.
And my client's wife was high-risk pregnancy due to lupus, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So, when she was telling you about issues that she was having in North Carolina, and then even issues that she had, going to the doctors for a normal checkup, is that like a very important thing that one should do with your field of expertise?
Being high risk, she should definitely be getting normal routine checkups, if not more than, because she is high risk.
Okay. Shanann told you that the last week that when Chris was in North Carolina, he stated that he did not want the third baby and was not in love with Shanann and did not care about Shanann or the baby. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did he tell you, again, this is in a text message, he told Shanann that he had thought having a third baby would fix things?
That is correct.
Did you ever ask Shanann what it meant by fix things, so that they were having problems in their marriage prior to Babyville?
I do not recall if I had.
Well, I mean, when somebody makes a comment like, I thought this would fix things, that means there's a problem. Did Shanann ever talk about any problems in their marriage prior to the baby being conceived and in her belly?
Not that I recall.
So Shanann really didn't talk to you about much, did she?
Not that I recall.
Personal stuff. Okay. Did when you were in New Orleans, Nolans, did you witness my client here in New Orleans? Was he in New Orleans for that end of April, beginning of May trip?
For New Orleans?
Yeah, in New Orleans, where she got the big award, and was my client there?
I believe so.
No, he wasn't.
No? Okay, I'm thinking about the San Diego. Never mind.
Yeah, my client was in San Diego. He wasn't in New Orleans, though, when she got the magazine stuff. And
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I recall that now. Sorry.
Okay, and you would think that's a pretty big trip. Did Shanann know that she was being awarded this award before she got there? Was she a finalist? How does that work? Do you know anything about that?
I do not know anything about it.
But you would think that Shanann would know about, like...
I would think, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that they could just spring it on her.
Weren't you surprised, Cassie? I was looking at our social media that we have here, and weren't you pretty surprised when Shanann was pregnant and you said the quote unquote told you so? I knew you were pregnant. Why didn't you tell me? Do you remember that?
I recall, yes, yep.
Do you know that if you actually, I don't know if you were paying attention in the previous trial testimony, but Cindy Dorsett took the stand, and she claimed that she had met and hung out with Chris and Shanann in New Orleans. Do you recall that testimony? Were you present for that?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did that surprise you at all that she thought that she met Chris for the first time, my client?
It did.
Why did it surprise you?
Because Chris wasn't there.
Exactly. Chris wasn't there. And do you recall a woman by the name of Kelly Burke?
No.
That's who Shanann spent and roomed with in New Orleans.
Okay.
Okay. And Kelly Burke is actually from her hometown.
Okay.
Okay. So you didn't room with Shanann, did you, in New Orleans?
No, I did not.
And so therefore you couldn't be certain who Shanann slept with or didn't sleep with in New Orleans, could you?
No.
Was Shanann drinking in New Orleans?
Oh, far long ago. I don't recall.
Was it normal though for you guys to have fruity cocktails, mixed drinks that were fancy, like you guys showed in the Facebook posts that you guys made?
Maybe one, yeah.
Maybe one. Okay. Do you think it's at all ironic that the conception date for baby number 3 was the weekend of the New Orleans trip?
Ironic? No.
Cassie, when you had talked to Shanann prior to going to Arizona, Shanann had decided not to push Chris about things that were going on in North Carolina and just the way he was being. And Shanann told you that she had set up a trip to Aspen for the weekend after Scottsdale, so that she and Chris could have some us time. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And so that was Shanann setting up a trip to Aspen.
That is correct.
So Shanann set that up.
That is correct.
Okay. And also you had stated that Bella's first day back to school was going to be 8/13, and that Shanann had already planned her outfit.
Yes, that is correct.
And you also told the detectives that Shanann was excited and also had an OB appointment at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, she did. Or she told me that anyways.
She told you that?
Yes.
How did you know that Shanann had an OB appointment at 9 a.m. on Monday?
Maybe Nicole told me.
You said that Shanann was excited and also had an OB appointment. So she was excited about the outfit and Bella going to school, which she's been going to Primrose, for the past year. But she had an OB appointment. And did you know that it was not at 9 o'clock? Cassie, it was in fact at 10. Actually, it was at 9:45. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Did you know that Shanann had 2 appointments prior to that she had canceled and rescheduled? And so therefore, did you ask or know about those appointments prior to that?
No, I didn't.
She had canceled a Wednesday appointment, then she had canceled her Thursday appointment, and that she rescheduled this for when she would fly back on Monday.
No, I did not know that.
So therefore, if you didn't know about the first two, how did you know about the third one? Wasn't it Shanann's phone that told you that she had that appointment because the doctor's office called and left a message that was actually intercepted by Nicole Atkinson when she was in the house? She listened to the voice message, and that's what alerted you guys that she even had a doctor's appointment that day?
Maybe.
Isn't it true, Miss Rosenberg, that you were on three-way all day and all morning with none other than Sandy and Nicole Atkinson, and then you would call Chris three-way, and you guys would rotate on who called Chris? Or when were you brought into the equation? Was this kept from you with did Nicole and Sandy talk without you? I'm just curious, Miss Rosenberg, how Shanann got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. They hid your text message that you sent at 8:53. They hid it. It's nowhere to be found, but I found it. But they didn't put it on the timeline transactions, and they hid it. And then you text the group message at 8:53. Then you text at 9, and then you text at 10, and you don't get any response, but she got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why would you be so concerned about your friend that could be sleeping?
Do I need to plead the fifth?
Miss Rosenberg, isn't it true that Amanda Thayer called you or messaged you on Facebook on Friday evening when you were in Arizona?
I do not recall.
And that she couldn't get in touch with Shanann? You don't recall this?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, Miss Amanda Thayer texted you via Facebook Messenger to Facebook Messenger, and saying that she'd wonder if you were with with Shanann, because you, Cassie, Amanda Thayer couldn't get in touch with her, and you guys then had a conversation. Do you recall that?
I do not recall that, no.
Okay. Do you recall that on Monday morning, when you had not heard from Shanann, you had talked with Nicole? Nicole, being in Colorado, could go look at Shanann's house. You were on the phone with Nicole while she was doing this, using the camera on the phone for video. Do you recall telling this to the investigators?
I do recall that, yes.
Okay, so she's on the phone with you, and she's using, obviously, you said video?
Yeah.
Now, you have an iPhone, and she has an Android, so you couldn't use FaceTime. Were you doing this through Facebook Messenger?
I believe so.
Okay. And it was relayed that Shanann's car was there in the garage. You never gave a time at when this happened, by the way. But Shanann's car was in the garage, and Shanann was not answering. You guys grew concerned about Shanann's health. Nicole tried the code for the front door, but there was an internal door latch that prevented entry. The latch was there as Shanann was worried that her kids would open the door. Shanann's shoes were by the door, which was normal. You saying her shoes by the door are normal. You said that you started to text Chris. So basically, if I put 2 and 2 together, since the detectives wouldn't give me your timestamps on things, You're referring to her being there at roughly 12:20, 12:10.
Approximately.
Okay. Were you aware that your friend spent that night there?
I was not aware.
Were you aware that she went there early in the morning?
I was not aware.
You said to the detectives that you and Nicole knew that Shanann had an OB appointment and that Nicole went to the office to see if Shanann had made it to her appointment, which she had not. I find that hard to believe that you guys knew about this doctor's appointment. There's no text messages anywhere, and that's all that you and Shanann would ever do, would text everything. And I don't see it anywhere in text messages that she's telling you that she has to go to her doctor's appointment in the morning. What she tells you is that something about the girls going to school, supposedly, but then again, that's still not in text message. Nothing to do with that morning is ever anywhere in text messaging. It just comes from the mouth of Nicole Atkinson. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is it also correct that it was bad weather and delays, and it was quite possible that Shanann wasn't even leaving Arizona that night due to, Addie Maloney's flight got canceled?
Yeah, it could have been. The flight was delayed.
Yeah, so, okay. So she cancels her Wednesday one. You didn't know about that. She canceled her Thursday one. You didn't know that there was a doctor's appointment that day. And then, but just by God, you know that there's a doctor's appointment on Monday. But yet none of your text messages to her say that in the morning. You don't ask about a doctor's appointment. You just say things like, I know that you're hurting, I'm sorry, and stuff like that. You don't say anything about a doctor's appointment. Cassie, you were moving to the area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, Nicole Atkinson, as she was stated here a couple weeks back with her testimony, said that she was going to look for a house in Longmont for a friend, and that friend was you. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Did you make an appointment with a real estate agent? Did you go on, did you download an app? Did you, click on a property and then you have to fill out this little inquiry and then they send you something and then you pick an appointment? Did you go through that process?
Not that I remember.
Because you never actually did anything like this, did you?
No.
There was no house that you were looking at because you, in fact, were going to move in with Shanann and Chris. Isn't that correct?
Initially, for approximately a month, yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk about a couple of your statements that you made to the police or investigators.
Okay.
You told the investigators, again, you were interviewed. Let me just refresh everybody here. You were interviewed via phone by Stacey Galbraith with CBI on 8/15, which was Wednesday at noon or at 10:50 a.m. So nobody's found, it's a missing persons, okay? And you said a couple things to Miss Galbraith that I want to ask you about. You said that Chris was never involved in matters such as contacting the kids' school. Do you recall that statement?
I do recall that.
Okay. Now, on 8/15, this is Wednesday, 8/15, you state that only Shanann handled contacting the school. Ma'am, how would you know that? You don't live in Colorado. that would just be, I mean, do your kids go to Primrose?
No.
Okay. Did you ever once tell the police or Sandy or Nicole to drive to Primrose to see if those children were there that morning? When you said that they were excited to go to school, Bella's first day back to school was 8:13, and she was already planning on an outfit. Shanann had planned an outfit. Shanann was excited about that, and that they were going to Primrose, and that she had her OB appointment. Did you ever once talk to my client and say to my client, where are your children, Chris? I called
No.
Primrose, or we're going to go over to Primrose. Where is your concern for the children?
I was worried about Shanann, and if
So you weren't worried about the kids?
Kids should have been with Shanann.
Ma'am, yes or no? Wait, so the kids should have been with Shanann? If they were at school, how would they be with Shanann? If Shanann was to take them like that she normally does at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, why would the children be with Shanann when you would text her at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning? Why wasn't there a sense of urgency to tell the police that the children aren't at Primrose? Isn't it, in fact, that the children were not going to Primrose? That there was no set plan for those children to be going to Primrose? Is that not fact? Because if it was fact, why didn't anybody talk about Primrose? You don't talk about Primrose. Nicole Atkinson doesn't talk about Primrose. Addie, nobody talks about, did anybody call Primrose? That is nowhere in your statement, ma'am. Did you talk about Primrose?
That is correct.
There's not even a statement to say to the police, well, he said that Shanann was taking the kids on a play date. There should have been no play date because Shanann was taking the kids to Primrose for school.
That's what the logic should have been, yep.
So why isn't anybody like yourself, ma'am, talking about Primrose? Now, I have another question for you. Now, you stated that Primrose is a very nice school, and Shanann fought hard to get the children into it. She would never risk losing their spot by not showing up for the first day. Now, I think that's a very, very interesting choice of words that you're using. She would never risk losing their spot by not showing up for the first day.
That is correct.
Okay. I read all 3 of your text messages to my client, and never once do you say those words to my client. Never once do you say, we called Primrose, or where are the children, Chris? They were supposed to go to Primrose. Shanann was going to take them to Primrose. Why would she take them on a play date, Chris? Where are any of those text messages to my client? My client calls Primrose and says that they're not going to be attending there anymore. And then he asks, are my kids there by chance? Because he can't talk. He called his wife. He texted his wife. No answer. He's letting Primrose know because him and his wife have had a conversation. They're no longer going to be going there because they can't afford it. He calls Primrose to let them know that, but then asks, are my kids there by chance?
That is correct.
If Shanann is worried about a $62 charge at a restaurant, how is she not worried about a $2,000 and $2,500 bill per month for daycare? I mean, are you out of your mind? How does somebody even logically speak about that?
I'm not too sure.
Did you know that it cost $2,000 and $2,500 a month for those kids to go to Primrose?
I did not.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
But like you said, Primrose is a very nice school, and Shanann fought hard to get those kids in. Why would Shanann need to get those kids in there? You're able to do a job and do Thrive, and you go on all these trips. Couldn't Shanann watch her kids and do Thrive? If you're able to be a nurse and do Thrive and go on all these trips because you're making the allowance to do that, couldn't Shanann do that?
I would think so.
How often was Shanann getting her nails done per month? Twice? Every 2 weeks?
I do not recall.
And now I want to talk about a couple more text messages. And then Miss Cassie, I'm going to let you off the hook easy. Maybe easy, maybe hard. Now, I really question a couple things that you've said to the detectives. Now, you stated that Shanann would mention that Chris's benefits had great coverage. Is that correct? He had great.
That is correct.
Okay. And that you make a comment to the detectives that said, before San Diego in June of 2018, Shanann had hit the 80K link at Lavelle, which is like your team sales. Shanann had told you that Chris loves the money when she gets paid every Tuesday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yet my client didn't even know that the money wasn't transferred the week before, but my client pays attention to the money just rolling in. You stated to the detectives that you thought he had a gym membership, but you didn't know where. Even though you knew that my client never worked out at a gym, did Shanann ever tell you that my client worked out at a gym?
Not that I recall.
But you just felt the need to tell the detectives that he possibly worked out at a gym. Cassie, isn't it true that on that Saturday night, you say that Shanann was clear with her fear? This is your quotes. Cassie said that on Saturday night, Shanann was clear with her fear that Chris was cheating on her.
Correct. My words.
Because Shanann told you that she was. Cassie said that on Saturday night, this is what you said to the detective, Shanann was clear with her fear that Chris was cheating on her. Cassie, you talked with the babysitter and learned that Chris was not home from the baseball game yet. So you talked to the babysitter, not Shanann?
Yes.
Was Shanann not able to talk? Was she incapacitated? Was she drunk? Was she passed out? Was she unable to talk? Why would you be talking to my client's babysitter?
I do not recall.
You said there was a charge, and she said there was a charge that came through from a place 15 minutes from their house. It was over $60. We went over that. Cassie and Nicole were also in fear that Chris was cheating on Shanann. Shanann then talked with Chris in the room, but she didn't drill him on anything. And in fact, she was just showering my client with love. Like, thank you so much for watching the girls this weekend. You did such a good job doing Bella's hair. I mean, it was all like, dude, if my person's sticking their dick in somebody else, I'm not going to be like roses with them. I'm going to, unless what? I mean, what was the plan? What, act like you're nice to them and then get home and do something? Or Shanann's got an Italian temper, or an Irish temper, Italian temper. And yet she's just acting like she didn't catch her man's dick wet. And Cassie, you said that Shanann is not the type of a person to be able to hold in her emotions. You stated that Shanann did not say that there was any mention of her and Chris separating before she left for Arizona. And that's a lie, isn't it, Cassie? There was a lot of talk before she left for Arizona. In fact, I'm going to read you some of the talk. So all you just sat here and did was lie your face off to one of the agents over in the CBI. And you said things like, on 8/8, which is the Thursday before the Friday that you left, Shanann said that he said that we're not compatible anymore. He refused to hug me. You guys are talking about mortgages, how expensive a house would be. You're saying things like, F him, we're moving in. You guys are having a lot of conversations. And then she says the key word of Shanann was in fear that Chris would take the kids from her.
That is correct.
Why would Shanann, who's a phenomenal mother, be worried about Chris taking the kids from her or even being able to even do that? Is there something that we don't know, Miss Rosenberg?
I do not recall.
Cassie, on 8/8, you asked my client's wife how her ultrasound went, but you never asked how her OBGYN appointment went. What do you think is more important, an elective ultrasound or her health and the baby's health? How come you didn't ask her how her doctor's appointment went on 8/8, but you asked how the ultrasound went? But yet you know about an appointment on 8/13.
I'm not sure. I didn't know about the...
Isn't it true because you didn't even know about these doctor's appointment? You knew about the ultrasound because that's going to give you the gender reveal.
That's right.
But here your best friend blew off 2 doctor's appointments and then a third one. Well, I shouldn't say blew off the third one, but she blew off the Wednesday and Thursday one. Meanwhile, Nicole Atkinson was in that house able to watch the children. And she just sat on her phone texting. Did you know that? Was she texting you? Yep, she was. She was texting you and Addie and Sarah. And going back to this 8/8 conversation at 9:52 p.m., Cassie, you say, fuck him. You say, fuck my client. Yep, I said it. And then you guys were talking about giving her encouragement and that you guys are going to be moving in and helping her and talking about divorce and separation, but yet you tell the agent, Stacy, that you had no, you say quote unquote, Shanann did not say that there was any mention of her and Chris separating before she left for Arizona. Now, that's a flat out fucking lie. Now, how much more did you lie about in this? And that's actually why the prosecution couldn't have you or your husband actually as state witnesses because of all the lies that you told in this that were actually proven to be lies just based on digital evidence. I mean, you flat out say this, and they wrote it in this report. Cassie said that Shanann is not the type of person to be able to hold her emotions in. Cassie said that Shanann did not say there was any mention of her and Chris separating before she left for Arizona. They agreed to counseling. Meanwhile, my client's saying he's not going to counseling while she was in Arizona. Cassie, you stated that Chris is a great guy, but there are no others to be concerned about regarding Shanann's disappearance. Cassie recalls Chris's voice when he was telling her not to get the police involved. There's no other people to be worried about. What if Shanann was pregnant with somebody else's baby and you witnessed it in New Orleans? Now, you also state to the investigators that my client refuses to drive the work truck onto the driveway because he was concerned with getting oil from the tires on the driveway.
That's correct.
But yet, Christina Meacham said that he wouldn't do it because he didn't want to wake up the girls because they were light sleepers. But then can you explain to me why Nicole Atkinson pulled into the driveway at 2 o'clock in the morning, roughly, or 1:48, 1:43? She pulled into the driveway to let Shanann out if they were so afraid of waking up the children. Why did that vehicle pull into the driveway as you can see it pulling out? Isn't your testimony just a bunch of bullshit? And that you guys were in fear heavily due to the state of mind of your best friend, that anything was possible that night. That's why you were so worried. Shanann didn't talk to you for 16 days. You didn't give a shit. Shanann doesn't talk to you back in 1 hour and you're flipping your dick. Doesn't it have to do with love, the state of the mind that Shanann was in after finding out that my client was actually having a marital affair? And that's actually the only thing that he was hiding was a marital affair. Wasn't planning premeditated murder. He was trying to keep an affair hidden from his wife. No further questions. Got no voice. You did great. You did a great job, Cassie. Appreciate you.
Don't hate me, girl.
I love you. I love you. Give it up. Give it up for Cassie. She did great.
Hey, bye.
So, appreciate you. I'm exhausted. Headache, exhaustion, water. This case was not you can't prosecute this case. I'm just sorry, you just can't. It's a sad thing to say, but you just can't. You're not gonna win. Thank you, Miss Marple. Good to see you. Exhausted. I'm gonna have no voice. Cassie is a little PI. Pain in my ass. You did great. Give it up. So what questions do you guys have about Cassie? Oh, I hate you, Florida Bass. You know, I just think the nerve of people to lie to like CBI, the FBI, like, damn, you got some balls, baby. You got some balls. Just curious. I gotta watch replay. Yeah, probably should. I could have gone into probably like a lot more. Probably Cassie should be like redirected. She'll probably be redirected by the prosecution after that ass whooping. But I think though that like some stuff, like you can be lied to and then you're repeating lies, but like the whole like doctor's appointment thing in the morning, the whole going to Primrose, then you never even talk about Primrose. And like, I mean, we have the text messages of what they talked about when she would text Chris. I mean, maybe she said those things, on the phone with him, that it's a possibility. But at the end of the day, Nicole Atkinson never once said anything about Primrose in the 911 call or when the police rolled up there. They never said like, and then she goes to the doctor's office to see if she showed up, but doesn't drive to the daycare to see if they showed up. Oh, well, she knew that she didn't have to do that because Sandy already called. But then Sandy says, don't tell anybody I called. What? Because she couldn't call that early because there's no one supposed to be in the house. Nicole Atkinson was supposed to go over in Longmont and look at a house for Cassie. And that was like the whole, like, the reason they said that is because of the 360 Life app. Because the app that she turned in, the data was Nick's and it had him going to Longmont. So, oh yeah, you went out there to look for a house for me. No, that didn't happen. There'd be a paper trail of it, and there'd be, 2018, you have to set up realtor appointments. You don't show up at a house and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Can I just check out your crib? That's not how it works. Thank you. And I'm going to go to bed. I'm exhausted. I've been working overtime for you. Be kind. I'm going to bed. I was hoping to go to the strip club, but you know what? I'm going to strip it to my bedroom. So. What are they lying? Wise, yeah. Why? I mean, I don't know. That's why I keep saying, I'm like, if this guy is so guilty, if he's so guilty, tell the truth. Thanks to Smart Boy Will. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Much love. Mwah.